I watched a particular video on Very Dark Black Man's channel and I felt very devastated listening to that story. See, no matter how good you are, there are some people you should not bring close to you. Some people do not deserve your help, and even if you want to help them from afar. It is not everybody you open the door of your home to. Your home is your comfort zone. Your home is your place of peace. When outside is rough, the only place you can find peace is your home. That is why you control whoever comes into your home. You are in charge. You should be selective of the people you bring to your home. Not everybody you call a friend should visit your home. Some of your friends, some people in your circle of friends should not know the road to your house. Yes, it is as bad as that because the heart of man is desperately wicked. Who can know it? Not everybody should have access to your comfort zone, to your place of peace, which you call a home. If you have to be wicked or appear wicked in the eyes of certain people to protect your peace and comfort, then you should be wicked. If you have to be wicked to ensure that wicked people do not invade your place of peace, then be wicked. It is allowed. That is a good type of wickedness because not everybody deserves to have access into your home. Because when there is no peace in your home, trust me, you will not find peace outside. There is nowhere in the world you would find peace outside if your home is not peaceful. That is the reason you should be mindful of the people you open the door of your house to. Be mindful. Protect your place of peace. Protect your comfort zone. So this was a case of a family of 6, 3 girls, 1 boy, plus their parents. The oldest child in the family was down with cancer. They were all living in Ajegunle in Lagos when the guy got an admission. The only boy in the family got an admission into Imo State University. Meanwhile, before he went to school, he had a friend called Ediri. Justus' family was just struggling and hustling to make ends meet. His mother was a nurse. And so while he was in school, God blessed his sister called Tekla, who happens to be the breadwinner of the family. Don't forget, the oldest in the family has cancer, right? So God blessed the sister. And the sister relocated the family from Ajegunle to Lagos Island. She was selling phone accessories and the business was really booming. And so when Justus was done with school, he moved back to Lagos from Imo State to assist his sister with the business. And so one day he asked of Ediri. And the sister had told him that since they relocated from Ajegunle to Lagos Island, they had not seen him. And so Justus decided to put a call through to his friend, Ediri. And he asked Ediri how life was treating him. And Ediri said that things were bad for him. And so Justus pleaded with his sister that Ediri should be allowed to come and stay with them. That was where his problem started. Ediri was allowed into the home, and in no time, Justus got a good job. He was very diligent with his job, and he had a good relationship with his boss. And so he pleaded with his boss if they could hire his friend, Ediri, in the same company. And the boss said, okay. Ediri was invited for an interview. Lest I forget, he got the job in Ogun State. From Lagos to Ogun State is not that far. So Justus got the job in Ogun State. He was working in Ogun State. He was no longer with his family in Lagos. And so his friend had to travel down from Lagos to Ogun State for the interview. Meanwhile, when he got to Ogun State for the interview, Justus had told him that after his interview, he should wait for him. He gave him his house key, that he should go to the house and wait for him. And so after his interview, he did not go to the house. He went back to Lagos. And when Justus closed from work that day, he went back home and discovered that his friend was not in the house. And he called him and asked him why he didn't wait for him, because their initial agreement was for him to wait and sleep over. And then the friend told him that he needed to go back to Lagos to explain to his sister, whom he was living with, that he secured a job and that he should start making arrangements for someone to be helping her with the business, because Ediri was also assisting Tekla with her phone business. So when he secured a job, he needed to go tell Tekla that they should look for another person to be assisting her. And Justus was impressed by the fact that Ediri was considerate of Tekla's business. Since he was hired in the company, he wanted to make arrangements for another person to be assisting Tekla. Guys, this story is so long, but to cut the long story short, Ediri came back from Ogun State with the intentions to make arrangements for Tekla to get another person who could be assisting her with the business, and also make arrangements for him to go back to Ogun State and resume his new job in the same company where Justus was working. Things started happening along the line. Ediri started changing. He started stealing from Tekla, and the family noticed it. And because they now see Ediri as a family member, not just a friend, they decided to handle the issue with caution. The summary of this whole story is that one day Tekla was missing, only for them to discover that it was Ediri who kpied Tekla. And he told the police that he was having an argument with Tekla and he pushed her, and she had hit her head on a hard surface and started bleeding. Before he could rush her to the hospital, she had already died. And out of fear, he took her body to Third Mainland Bridge and threw it inside the river. But the story wasn't adding up. How were you able to carry such a mature person all by yourself without being assisted by another person? Ediri said that he was assisted by an Uber driver. And they started asking him, who is that Uber driver? And after some time, he said he's not an Uber driver, he's just one random taxi guy who assisted him to deposit Tekla's body in the river. But if Tekla's body was actually deposited in the river, after some days, the body would float up, or fishermen would see her, right? They started torturing Ediri to tell them where he deposited Tekla's body. And he took the police to the spot in a bush where he disembodied Tekla's body, cut her into pieces. So apparently, Ediri was an organ harvester. Yes, that was what he was doing. Because you cannot kill someone and cut her into pieces if you don't have any intentions to harvest her organs. It is easier to kill the person and throw the person into a bush, a river, or somewhere. But you now taking the time to cut the person's body into pieces simply means that there is more to the killing. You wanted the person's organs, not just for the person to be dead. The most painful part of this story is that they were hiding Tekla's death from their mother at first. The day they broke the news to her, she collapsed and was rushed to the hospital. After some days, she died. They were also hiding the news from their older sister, who happened to be a cancer patient. And the day they broke the news to her, she died, making a total of 3 people who died in one family as a result of one wicked friend. Moving on, the police decided to charge the case to a court without informing the family of Justus. You can imagine, how can you take someone to court without informing the owner of the case? That is absurd. It is appalling. The case was charged to court and Ediri was taken to prison. There in the prison, where the whole thing became fishy, there in the prison, he was recording videos and sending threats to Justus' family. You can imagine the audacity of a criminal, the audacity of a murderer. He was sending threats to Justus' family. You can imagine the audacity of a criminal, the audacity of a murderer, This can only happen in a lawless country called Nigeria. Yeah, this can only happen in Nigeria. You killed someone and you were sent to prison, and in the prison, you were making videos threatening the family of the lady you killed. That is even the most painful part of this whole story. To me, that is the most painful part. It is one thing for someone to commit a crime. There is this joy you have when you see the person who committed a crime paying for their crime, facing the consequences of their actions. There is this inner peace you have knowing that your sister got justice. But no, this boy was in the prison and sent a threat to Justus' family. What an audacity. This can only happen in a lawless country like Nigeria. What? People no longer have conscience? All these so-called police and judges, you don't have conscience? You don't have family? Are you animals? Are you animals in human bodies? Don't you have conscience? For a murderer to have the audacity, he did not deny the crime, mind you. He did not deny the crime. For him to have the audacity to threaten his victims, it means everything is wrong. Everything is wrong in Nigeria. How bad can it get? How bad can it get? Meanwhile, Justus' family would be in court tomorrow for the hearing of the case. And Very Dark Man has said that he would be there because he was given an invitation to be there. The venue is Justice Sonaike's court at TBS in CMS High Court. Now, they want to do a plea bargain to plead the family for whatever. I don't understand. What do they want to plead the family for? So that they could free Ediri or what? This whole issue happened in 2023. And now they want to do a plea bargain for Ediri to regain freedom or what? Or to be bailed? Really? Ha, Nigeria. Nigeria, which way? It is obvious that a rich and influential man is backing Ediri up. That's the reason I said that Ediri is an organ harvester. He has been doing it for other people. Yes. Because if this is just an ordinary case of murder, why is the court allowing the family of Ediri to do a plea bargain with the family of Justus? Why? Ediri should be made to face the consequences of his action in full. He should pay in full for what he did. His actions led to the death of 2 extra members of Justus' family, making a total number of 3 people who died in one family as a result of a wicked friend. That's the reason I said at the beginning of this video that you should be mindful of the people you open the door of your house to. It is better to be friends with some people from a distance. If you want to help them from a distance. You see that adage, teach people how to fish. Don't always give them fish. If you must do that, use wisdom. If you want to teach people how to fish, you don't have to bring them closer. You don't have to teach them how to fish from the same river you are fishing from. Take them to another river. Otherwise, one day, they would drown you in that river in the process of teaching them how to fish. The heart of man is desperately wicked. Who can know it? That is the reason you have to be careful. Even when being kind, you have to use wisdom. You cannot be kind to everybody. There are some people you should not show kindness to. Just leave them to wallow in their pain. Leave them to wallow in their misery. That is where they belong. That is what suits them. Otherwise, in a bid to help them out of their misery, they would pull you into it. Anyway, fingers crossed, let's see how this case would end. Meanwhile, this is Critical Thinking, and what we do here is share our opinion on issues without sentiment, without bias, without fear or favor, and without letting our emotions cloud our sense of judgment. So long as we are saying the truth, we don't care how it affects your feelings. Thank you for your time.